What if even Piell confronted Palpatine? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The lightsaber ignites. Green blade cuts through darkness. Even Piell stands in the Chancellor's office. Red guards lie dead at his feet. Palpatine rises from his desk. That smile, that grandfatherly smile. You made a grave mistake coming here alone, Master Jedi. Piell doesn't flinch. The only mistake was the Senate trusting a Sith Lord. The temperature drops. Palpatine's eyes narrow. Brave words. Do you have proof? Or just Jedi arrogance? Piell throws a datapad onto the desk. Encrypted Sith communications. Financial transactions funding both sides of the war. Everything traced back to this office. To you, Sidious. The mask drops. Palpatine's face twists into something ancient, something terrible. Impressive detective work. I didn't expect anyone to piece it together, especially not you. So you admit it. Admit is such a loaded word. Let's say I acknowledge your conclusions are correct. Yes, Master Piell, I am Darth Sidious. I orchestrated this war. The Separatists, the Clone Army, all of it. My design. And now that you know, what will you do? Arrest me? Kill me? Piell's grip tightens on his lightsaber. One of those. Palpatine laughs. Cold, cruel. You can't defeat me. 1,000 years of Sith knowledge against your Jedi tricks. But please, try. Lightning erupts. The office explodes into violence. This is the moment everything changes. One Jedi, one Sith Lord. The fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. But how did it come to this? How did a small Lannic master uncover what the entire Jedi Council missed? Let's rewind. Not far. Just hours earlier. The Jedi Council chambers hum with tension. Master Piell reviews intelligence reports from the Citadel mission. He survived the extraction in this timeline. Barely. His scarred features twist in concentration as he examines troop movements across the outer rim. Something troubles him. The pattern is too precise, too coordinated. Someone is feeding information to both sides of this war. Chancellor Palpatine knows our every move before we make it. Master Windu leans forward. During our mission to the Citadel, the Separatists knew we were coming. They knew our extraction point, our escape route. Only a handful of people had access to that information. Yoda's ears droop. Troubling this is. But proof, have you? Not yet, Master. But I intend to find it. Piell's voice carries absolute certainty. His reputation as one of the Order's finest military strategists gives his words credibility. The Council grants him permission to investigate. Some express concern about the political implications. Piell doesn't care about politics. He cares about finding the truth. The investigation begins quietly. Piell uses his extensive network of intelligence contacts built over decades of service. He starts with communications logs and encrypted transmissions between Coruscant and Separatist territories. The trail is cold at first, expertly concealed by layers of misdirection. But Piell is patient. His time in the Citadel taught him that the most valuable intelligence requires the most effort. After weeks of searching, he finds the first thread. Financial transactions routed through dummy corporations in Hutt space. Billions of credits flowing from Republic accounts into Separatist war funds. Too clean. Too professional to be simple corruption. This is something far more organized. Piell traces the credits back through multiple shell companies until he reaches their source. The Senate building itself. His investigation takes him deep into the Senate archives late one night. Most senators have retired to their apartments. Piell moves through dimly lit corridors with practiced stealth. His small stature allows him to remain unnoticed by security droids. He accesses restricted terminals using codes from friendly contacts within the Senate Guard. What he finds makes his blood run cold. Encrypted communications, thousands of them, each using Sith ciphers that Piell recognizes from his studies of ancient history. He doesn't have the ability to decrypt them all. He doesn't need to. The metadata alone tells him everything. The messages originate from a single terminal, a terminal in the Chancellor's private office. Cross-referencing the timestamps with major separatist victories reveals a pattern so obvious that Piell wonders how no one noticed before. Every major Republic defeat was preceded by communications from this terminal. But Piell goes deeper. He needs more than circumstantial evidence. He spends another week analyzing financial records, communications logs, classified military reports. The picture that emerges is damning. Palpatine has been orchestrating both sides of the war from the beginning. The clone wars, the death, the suffering, all carefully engineered by one man sitting at the heart of the Republic. The evidence is overwhelming. Piell copies everything onto an encrypted data chip and returns to the Jedi Temple just before dawn. His first stop is Master Yoda's meditation chamber. The ancient Jedi Master listens in silence as Piell presents his findings. When Piell finishes, Yoda sits in contemplative silence for several long minutes. Grave news this is, but careful we must be. The Senate trusts Palpatine. Accuse him without absolute proof, and destroy the Jedi Order we will. I have absolute proof, Master. Piell's certainty is unshakable. I've traced the communications, the financial transactions, everything. Palpatine is the Sith Lord we've been searching for. He is Darth Sidious. Yoda closes his eyes and reaches into the Force. The dark side clouds everything. But beneath that murky veil, Yoda senses the truth. Palpatine has indeed been manipulating events from the shadows. Knowing the truth and proving it to the galaxy are two different challenges. Yoda agrees to convene an emergency council session. Master Windu arrives first. His jaw tightens with each revelation. This is treason. Beyond treason. A Sith Lord in the highest office while we fight his war. Other council members arrive and the emergency session begins. Piell presents his evidence methodically, anticipating every question and objection. Some council members are immediately convinced. Others express doubt. Not because the evidence is weak, because the implications are too terrible to accept. Master Ki-Adi-Mundi points out the political ramifications. If we move against Palpatine and fail, the Jedi Order will be branded as traitors. We could lose everything we've worked to build. Master Plo Koon counters with cold logic. If we don't move against Palpatine, we've already lost. We're fighting a war orchestrated by the enemy. Every clone who dies, every world that burns, and it's all part of his plan. The debate stretches for hours. Piell watches in growing frustration as the council ties itself in knots over political considerations. This is exactly why the Sith Lord has been able to operate with impunity. The Jedi have become so entangled with the Senate that they can barely function. Finally, Piell has had enough. He stands and addresses the council with characteristic bluntness. While we debate, Palpatine consolidates power. Every day we wait, he grows stronger. I didn't risk my life at the Citadel just to watch us lose this war through political paralysis. I'm going to confront him. Master Windu stands immediately. That's too dangerous. If you're wrong, it could mean the end of the Jedi Order. If you're right, confronting him alone is suicide. I'm not wrong, and I won't be alone. I'll have the Force. Yoda intervenes. A point, Master Piell raises. But reckless action, dangerous it is. Propose I do that Master Windu accompanies you. A show of force. Piell shakes his head. No. If Windu and I both go, it looks like the Jedi Order is attempting a coup. If I go alone, it's one master investigating credible evidence of treason. If I'm wrong, the Council can disavow my actions. If I'm right, I'll signal for backup. The Council reluctantly agrees. Master Windu insists on positioning a strike team nearby in case things go wrong. Piell accepts this compromise. He meditates in the temple gardens, centering himself in the Force. He knows he might be walking to his death, but his conscience won't allow any other course. That evening, Piell requests a private audience with the Chancellor. Pretense of discussing sensitive intelligence from the Citadel mission. Palpatine agrees immediately, his voice warm and grandfatherly over the comlink. Of course, Master Piell. I always have time for the Jedi Council. Your insights will be invaluable. Shall we say my office at 2000 hours? That will be acceptable, Chancellor. Piell arrives precisely on time, alone as promised. The Senate building is quiet at this hour. Only a few security personnel remain. They wave the Jedi Master through without question. Palpatine's office is on the highest level. Panoramic view of Coruscant's endless cityscape. The red-robed guards snap to attention as Piell approaches. One opens the door. Piell steps inside. The Chancellor sits behind his massive desk, backlit by the glow of the city beyond, his expression pleasant, welcoming. But Piell can sense something predatory lurking beneath. Ah, Master Piell. Please, come in. I've been looking forward to this conversation. Your service at the Citadel was exemplary. Piell walks to the center of the room, his hand resting casually near his lightsaber. Let us dispense with the pleasantries, Chancellor. I'm not here to discuss the Citadel mission. Palpatine's smile doesn't waver. Oh? Then what brings you to my office at such a late hour? Piell reaches into his robes and produces the data pad, tosses it onto the Chancellor's desk. The device displays the encrypted Sith communications, the financial transactions, all the evidence. That does. Palpatine examines the datapad in silence. His expression remains neutral, almost curious, as if studying an interesting puzzle. When he finally looks up, his eyes meet Piell's with unsettling directness. Impressive detective work, Master Jedi. I must admit, I didn't expect anyone to piece it together quite so thoroughly. You're more resourceful than I gave you credit for. So you admit it. You're Darth Sidious. Palpatine leans back in his chair, his fingers steepled before him. Admit is such a loaded word. Let's say instead that I acknowledge your conclusions are correct. Yes, Master Piell. I am Darth Sidious. I have been orchestrating this war from the beginning. The Separatists, the clone army, all of it has been part of my grand design. He pauses. And now that you know, what do you intend to do about it? Arrest you? Bring you before the Senate and the Jedi Council? End this war? Palpatine laughs, sound devoid of warmth. My dear Master Piell, you can't be that naive. Do you truly believe the Senate would accept the word of a Jedi over their beloved Chancellor? I have spent decades building political capital, cultivating relationships, ensuring loyalty. Even if you somehow manage to arrest me, which I assure you won't happen, the Senate would never convict me. Piell's hand moves to his lightsaber hilt. Then I'll do what must be done. You'll kill me? Here? Now? That would make you no better than the Sith you claim to oppose. Besides, do you really think you can defeat me? I've had over 1,000 years of Sith knowledge to study. Your Jedi tricks are nothing compared to the power of the dark side. I've faced down some of the galaxy's most dangerous criminals and walked away. I survived the Citadel when others didn't. I'm not afraid of you, Sidious. The temperature in the room drops. Palpatine rises from his chair. The grandfatherly facade melts away, replaced by something ancient and terrible. Very well, Master Jedi. If you insist on this course of action, I'll be happy to educate you on the true nature of power. But know this. You came here alone. No one knows what you've discovered. When your body is found, I'll simply claim you attacked me in a fit of madness. The Jedi Order will be disgraced. My position will be stronger than ever. Piell ignites his lightsaber. The green blade casts sharp shadows across the office. I'm not as alone as you think. The Council knows everything. If I don't report back, they'll come for you. Palpatine's laugh is cold and cruel. Will they? The same council that's been debating what to do about me for hours while you conducted your investigation. The same council so paralyzed by political concerns that they allowed one small Jedi to confront a Sith Lord alone. No, Master Piell. They won't come. They'll wait. They'll debate. And by the time they act, it will be far too late. The Sith Lord's hands crackle with dark energy. He unleashes the first attack. Force lightning arcs across the room, striking the Red Guards who immediately move to defend their master. But Palpatine isn't trying to kill them. He's turning them against Piell. The guards' eyes go blank as dark side energy floods through them, overriding their loyalty protocols, filling them with murderous intent. They draw their force pikes and advance on the Jedi Master. Piell moves with surprising speed for someone of his small stature. His lightsaber becomes a blur of green light. He deflects the first guard's attack and follows through with a devastating slash. Cuts through the pike and into the guard's chest. The second guard attempts to flank him. Piell uses the force to shove him into the third guard, both sprawling. The fourth guard manages to land a glancing blow that singes Piell's robes. The Jedi Master spins inside his reach and drives his lightsaber through the guard's midsection. The remaining three guards press their attack, movements unnaturally coordinated by Palpatine's manipulation. Piell flows between their strikes like water. His Form 4 lightsaber technique allows him to remain constantly in motion. He leaps over one guard's horizontal sweep, plants his foot on the guard's helmet, springs off to deliver a flying kick to another guard's face. The impact sends the guard crashing into Palpatine's desk. As Piell lands, he extends his hand, uses the force to hurl the fallen guard into his companions. All three collapse in a tangle of limbs and ceremonial robes. Piell doesn't give them a chance to recover. He rushes forward and delivers precise strikes that disable each guard permanently. The entire fight lasts less than 20 seconds. Piell stands amid the wreckage of Palpatine's defenses, his lightsaber still humming with deadly energy. "Impressive," Palpatine says from where he stands near the window, his expression genuine admiration mixed with dark amusement. "You're even better than I anticipated. The reports of your skills weren't exaggerated. But let's see how you fare against a true master of the Force." The Sith Lord extends both hands, unleashes a torrent of Force lightning far more powerful than his initial attack. The blue-white energy fills the room, arcing off walls and furniture as it seeks out Piell. The Jedi Master raises his lightsaber and catches the lightning on his blade, the energy crackling around him as he struggles to contain it. The force of the attack drives him back a step, then another, his boots leaving scorch marks on the expensive carpet. But Piell has faced force lightning before. He knows how to counter it. He angles his blade and redirects the energy toward one of the office's windows. The reinforced transparent steel shatters, sending shards of glass cascading into the Coruscant night. Palpatine cuts off the lightning attack and draws a lightsaber from within his robes. The blade ignites with a crimson hiss. The Sith Lord drops into a classic Makashi dueling stance, his movements fluid and precise, the product of decades of practice in secret. "Now, Master Piell, let us dance." He lunges forward with incredible speed, his blade seeking Piell's heart with surgical precision. Piell sidesteps and parries in one motion, his smaller size forcing him to be more economical with his movements. He can't match Palpatine's reach or raw power, so he relies on speed and precision instead. His counterattack is a series of rapid strikes aimed at Palpatine's wrists and forearms, attempting to disarm the Sith Lord through technique rather than strength. But Palpatine's defense is immaculate. His blade intercepts each strike with minimal effort. He responds with a riposte that nearly takes Piell's head off. The Jedi Master ducks under the attack and rolls forward. Coming up inside Palpatine's guard, his lightsaber arcs toward the Sith Lord's midsection. Palpatine spins away and counters with a horizontal slash. Piell blocks the attack. Their blades lock for a moment. Up close, Piell can feel the full weight of the dark side pressing against him, trying to overwhelm his connection to the Force. But his will is iron strong, forged through years of combat and hardship. He breaks the lock and leaps backward, putting distance between himself and his opponent. Palpatine pursues immediately, his lightsaber moving in elegant arcs that belie the deadly intent behind each strike. The duel moves across the office, destroying furniture and artwork as the combatants exchange blows. Piell's Ataru technique keeps him constantly mobile, leaping and flipping to avoid Palpatine's precise strikes while looking for openings in the Sith Lord's defense. For several minutes, they fight in relative silence, their lightsabers providing the only sound beyond their controlled breathing. Piell manages to score a hit on Palpatine's shoulder, burning through the Chancellor's robes and searing flesh beneath. The Sith Lord hisses in pain, but doesn't slow down. Instead, he channels his anger into his attacks, increasing their speed and ferocity. His blade becomes a red blur as he drives Piell back toward the shattered window. Piell feels the night air at his back, realizes he's running out of room. He needs to change tactics. Drawing on the Force, he reaches out and tears a section of Palpatine's massive desk free, hurls it at the Sith Lord with tremendous force. Palpatine slices through it with his lightsaber. But the debris provides enough distraction for Piell to leap over the Chancellor's head. Landing behind him, his lightsaber flashes downward in a killing stroke aimed at Palpatine's spine. But the Sith Lord anticipated the move. He spins at the last second and catches Piell's blade on his own. The impact sends a shower of sparks cascading across the floor. Palpatine's free hand shoots out. Force lightning erupts from his fingertips at point-blank range. Piell tries to dodge. No time. The energy slams into his chest and sends him flying across the room. He crashes into a bookshelf. Ancient texts rain down around him. Pain courses through Piell's body as he struggles to his feet. His robes are smoking. He can smell burned flesh. But he survived worse. He ignites his lightsaber again and prepares for another assault. Palpatine advances slowly, his expression cold satisfaction. "You're strong, Master Piell. Stronger than most. But you can't win this fight. The dark side is more powerful than anything the Jedi teach. Why not join me? Together, we could bring true order to the galaxy." Piell spits blood and raises his lightsaber. "I'd rather die." Palpatine sighs theatrically. "How disappointing. I was hoping you'd be more pragmatic." "Very well. If you won't serve me willingly, you'll serve me as an example." He raises his hand to deliver another blast of Force lightning. Before he can release it, Piell does something unexpected. The Jedi Master throws his lightsaber. The green blade spins through the air like a deadly disc, forcing Palpatine to abort his attack and dodge. While the Sith Lord is distracted, Piell extends both hands, unleashes a powerful Force push that catches Palpatine off guard. The Chancellor stumbles backward, his concentration broken. Piell recalls his lightsaber to his hand and charges forward, pressing his momentary advantage. Their blades clash again and again, the sound echoing through the ruined office. Piell fights with desperate intensity, knowing that he's running out of time and strength. He can feel his injuries slowing him down, making his movements a fraction of a second slower than they need to be. But he refuses to give up. He thinks of all the clones who have died in this manufactured war, all the Jedi who have fallen fighting an enemy orchestrated by the man before him. That anger gives him strength, but it also makes him reckless. He overextends on a strike aimed at Palpatine's neck. The Sith Lord takes advantage. Palpatine sidesteps and delivers a precise strike to Piell's lightsaber hand. The blade cuts deep. Piell's lightsaber falls from nerveless fingers. Before he can recover, Palpatine's free hand shoots out, grabs him by the throat, lifts the small Jedi off the ground with the Force. Piell struggles against the invisible grip, like being caught in a vice. He can barely breathe, let alone break free. Palpatine's face twists into a cruel smile as he tightens his hold. You fought well, Master Piell, but not well enough. Now you have a choice. You can die here, a failed assassin whose body I'll use to discredit the Jedi Order, or you can live, imprisoned and forgotten while I complete my plans. What will it be? Despite the pain and lack of oxygen, Piell manages to croak out a response. The Council knows. They'll stop you. Palpatine's laugh is cold. Will they? Let's find out. Instead of crushing Piell's throat, the Sith Lord makes a different choice. He needs to know how much the Jedi Council actually knows, what they plan to do about it. A dead Piell is less useful than a living one. He releases the Force choke, lets Piell collapse to the floor, gasping for air. Before Piell can recover, Palpatine makes a gesture. Hidden panels in the walls slide open. Battle droids emerge, their weapons trained on the fallen Jedi. These aren't standard Separatist droids. They're heavily modified, painted in Republic colors, designed to appear as if they're part of the Chancellor's security detail. Palpatine has been preparing for this contingency for years. Take him to the holding facility beneath the industrial sector. Make sure he's kept alive and relatively comfortable. I may have use for him yet. The droids move forward, place stun cuffs on Piell before hauling him to his feet. The Jedi Master tries to resist, too weak from his injuries and the Force lightning. As they drag him toward a hidden exit, Piell looks back at Palpatine one last time. This isn't over. The Sith Lord's smile is predatory. On the contrary, Master Piell, it's only just beginning. Back at the Jedi Temple, Master Yoda sits in meditation, waiting for news from Piell. The appointed time for the confrontation has passed. Yoda has felt disturbances in the Force that suggest violence, but there's been no signal from Piell, no call for backup. The ancient Jedi Master opens his eyes and reaches for his comlink. Master Windu, assemble the strike team. Something has gone wrong. Mace Windu was already preparing for this possibility. Within minutes, he gathers Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano in the temple hangar. Master Windu briefs them quickly. Master Piell went to confront the Chancellor based on evidence that Palpatine is the Sith Lord we've been searching for. He was supposed to signal if he needed backup. We haven't heard from him in over an hour. We're going in. Anakin looks shocked. The Chancellor? A Sith Lord? That's impossible. He's been guiding the Republic through this war. He's our ally. Obi-Wan places a hand on his former Padawan's shoulder. Anakin, I know this is difficult to accept, but Master Piell isn't one to make baseless accusations. If he believed Palpatine was Sidious, he had good reason. Ahsoka checks her lightsabers, her expression troubled. What's the plan, Master? Do we storm the Senate building? Windu shakes his head. We don't know what we're walking into. Palpatine may have laid a trap. Our priority is finding Master Piell and extracting him safely. If we can gather evidence against Palpatine in the process, all the better. But we're not starting a war with the Republic. The team boards a stealth transport and flies toward the Senate building under cover of darkness. As they approach, they see signs of a struggle visible through the shattered window of Palpatine's office. Scorch marks, destroyed furniture, the bodies of the Red Guards. Obi-Wan feels his stomach sink. Whatever happened here, it was violent. They land on a nearby platform and make their way into the building through maintenance access tunnels. Ahsoka leads the way, her smaller size allowing her to navigate the tight spaces more easily. When they finally reach Palpatine's office, they find it empty except for the dead guards and wreckage. No sign of either Piell or the Chancellor. Master Windu examines the scorch marks on the floor, noting the pattern of lightsaber burns and force lightning. There was a duel here. Piell fought someone. From the looks of it, he held his own for a while. Obi-Wan picks up Piell's lightsaber from where it fell during the fight. This isn't good. Piell would never leave his lightsaber behind willingly. Anakin moves to the desk and finds the datapad that Piell brought, still active, displaying the encrypted Sith communications and financial records. He scrolls through the evidence, his expression growing darker with each page. This can't be real. The Chancellor couldn't have done all this. There has to be another explanation. Ahsoka reads over his shoulder, her eyes widening. Master, these communications are dated back years, before the war even started. If this is real, then everything we've been fighting for is a lie. Before they can discuss further, alarms begin blaring throughout the Senate building. Security forces are converging on their location. Master Windu makes a quick decision. We need to leave. Now. Grab anything that might be evidence and let's move. The team retreats the way they came, but they don't make it far before they encounter resistance. Clone troopers in Senate Guard livery block the corridor ahead, their weapons raised. Halt. By order of the Chancellor, you are all under arrest for attempting to assassinate Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. The Jedi exchange glances. This is exactly what Piell feared. Palpatine is using his disappearance to paint the Jedi as traitors. Master Windu steps forward, his hands raised in a peaceful gesture. Stand down, troopers. We're not here to assassinate anyone. We're searching for a missing Jedi Master who came here on official business. The clone commander doesn't lower his weapon. That Jedi attacked the Chancellor in his office. The Chancellor was forced to defend himself. The Jedi has been taken into custody. You need to come with us for questioning. Anakin's hand moves toward his lightsaber. Obi-Wan catches his arm. Don't. If we fight Republic forces, we confirm everything Palpatine is saying about us. We need to find another way. Ahsoka reaches out through the Force, trying to sense Piell's location. She feels a faint presence somewhere below them, deep beneath the city's surface. Master Windu? I think I know where they took him. He's alive, but he's underground, far below the Senate building. Master Windu nods and turns back to the clone commander. We're leaving. You can report to the Chancellor that we refused arrest. If he wants to press charges, he can bring them before the Jedi Council officially. The clones tense. Windu doesn't give them time to respond. He unleashes a force push that sends them sprawling, then leads his team in a sprint toward the maintenance tunnels. Blaster fire erupts behind them, The Jedi deflect the bolts as they flee deeper into the building's infrastructure. They navigate through kilometers of pipes and conduits. Following Ahsoka's sense of Piell's presence, the trail leads them to an abandoned industrial sector, condemned decades ago. The buildings here are skeletal ruins, windows dark and broken. But beneath one of these structures, Ahsoka senses life. Down there, he's in some kind of detention facility. The team descends through an old lift shaft, using the Force to slow their fall. At the bottom, they find a hidden complex that doesn't appear on any official maps. The facility is guarded by those same modified battle droids they saw in Palpatine's office, along with several clone troopers wearing black armor instead of the standard white. Obi-Wan recognizes them immediately. Those aren't regular clones. They're special forces. Someone went to a lot of trouble to keep this place secret. Master Windu ignites his lightsaber. Then let's give them something to worry about. We're getting Piell out of here. The battle that follows is intense but brief. The Jedi are some of the Order's finest warriors. The guards, while skilled, are no match for them. Anakin and Ahsoka work in perfect tandem, their fighting styles complementing each other as they cut through the battle droids. Obi-Wan uses the Force to disarm clone troopers before knocking them unconscious with precise strikes. Master Windu faces the bulk of the opposition, his violet blade a blur as he dismantles the defensive line. Within minutes, the guards are defeated, and the Jedi breach the detention block. They find Piell in a cell designed to suppress Force abilities, his injuries roughly bandaged, but still clearly causing him pain. When he sees his rescuers, relief washes over his scarred features. Took you long enough. Ahsoka uses her lightsaber to cut through the cell's energy field, while Obi-Wan helps Piell to his feet. Can you walk? Piell nods grimly. I'll manage. We need to get out of here before reinforcements arrive. Did you get the evidence from Palpatine's office? Anakin holds up the data pad. We have it. But Master, the Chancellor is claiming you attacked him. He's using this to turn the Republic against the Jedi. Piell's expression hardens. Of course he is. That's his plan. Create chaos. Paint the Jedi as traitors. Use the crisis to consolidate power. We need to get this evidence to the Council immediately. They need to understand what we're facing. The team makes their escape, fighting their way back through the industrial sector and into the lower levels of Coruscant. By the time they return to the Jedi Temple, the situation has escalated dramatically. News feeds across the galaxy are broadcasting Palpatine's version of events. The Supreme Chancellor, bruised and bandaged, addresses the Senate from his office. The wounds visible on his shoulder add credibility to his story. My fellow senators, it is with a heavy heart that I must report an assassination attempt on my life. Master even Piell of the Jedi Order infiltrated my office and attacked me without provocation. Only the bravery of my guards prevented my death. The Senate chamber erupts in shocked murmurs. Palpatine continues, his voice heavy with manufactured sorrow. I do not know what drove Master Piell to such desperate action. Perhaps the stress of war has affected his judgment. Perhaps there are elements within the Jedi Order who believe they should rule the Republic rather than serve it. Whatever the reason, this attack cannot go unanswered. I am calling for a full investigation into the Jedi Order and their activities during the war. The broadcast cuts to show Jedi temples surrounded by clone troopers. The clones aren't attacking, but their presence is clearly meant as a show of force. Senators who were already skeptical of the Jedi begin calling for their authority to be curtailed. Some even suggest that the Jedi should be removed from their military positions, confined to the temple until the investigation is complete. The galaxy watches as the relationship between the Jedi and the Republic begins to fracture. Inside the Jedi Temple, the full council assembles for an emergency session. Piell stands before them, still bearing the marks of his confrontation with Palpatine. He presents all the evidence he gathered, backing it up with eyewitness testimony of Palpatine's admission of being Darth Sidious. The council members listen in grave silence as the full scope of the Sith Lord's plan becomes clear. When Piell finishes, the chamber remains quiet for several long moments. Master Ki-Adi-Mundi breaks the silence. This evidence is damning. But the political reality is equally damning for us. Palpatine has successfully painted us as would-be assassins. Even if we present this evidence to the Senate, how many will believe us over their beloved Chancellor? Master Plo Koon leans forward. More importantly, how do we know Palpatine hasn't already prepared countermeasures? He's had years to plan for this contingency. Every piece of evidence we present, he'll have an explanation that the Senate will want to believe. Yoda closes his eyes and reaches deep into the Force, seeking guidance. When he opens them again, his expression is troubled. A dark time, this is. The shadow of the Sith, grown too strong it has. But retreat we cannot. Act we must, even at the cost of our standing with the Republic. Master Windu stands and begins to pace, his mind working through tactical scenarios. We need to arrest Palpatine, bring him before the Senate in chains, and force them to listen to the evidence. But we can't do it openly. The moment we move against him, he'll activate whatever contingency plans he has in place. Obi-Wan raises a concern. Master, we also need to consider the clone army. If Palpatine has been planning this for as long as we suspect, he may have built in safeguards, control mechanisms we don't know about. Anakin shakes his head, refusing to accept the implications. The clones are loyal to the Republic. They'd never turn on us. We've fought alongside them for years. They're our brothers. Ahsoka places a hand on his arm. I hope you're right, Sky Guy. But we need to be prepared for anything. The council debates for hours, weighing their options and discussing the potential consequences of each course of action. Some members argue for immediate action, striking at Palpatine before he can consolidate his position. Others counsel patience, suggesting they gather more evidence and build political support before making a move. Piell listens to all of this with growing frustration. Every minute they debate, Palpatine grows stronger. Finally, Piell has had enough. He stands and addresses the council with the same bluntness that characterized his confrontation with Palpatine. Masters, I respect this council and the wisdom it represents. But I've seen firsthand what we're facing. Palpatine isn't just a Sith Lord. He's a master manipulator who spent decades positioning himself for this moment. Every second we waste debating, he's using to shore up his defenses and turn the galaxy against us. Master Windu nods in agreement. Piell is right. We need to act. I propose we assemble a strike team. We'll arrest Palpatine quietly and bring him before the council. Once he's in custody, we can present the evidence to the Senate without him there to spin the narrative. It's risky, but it's our best chance. Yoda considers this for a moment before nodding slowly. Agree, I do. But careful we must be. Only masters on this mission should go. And prepared for the worst, we must be. The council selects a team. Master Windu, Master Fisto, Master Teen, and Master Kohler. 4 of the Order's finest warriors, each a master of combat and the Force. Piell requests to join them. Yoda denies the request. Too injured you are, and too close to this matter. Rest you must. Let others finish what you started. Piell wants to argue. He knows Yoda is right. His injuries, from the fight with Palpatine haven't fully healed. He'd be more liability than asset in another confrontation. As the strike team prepares to depart, alarms suddenly blare throughout the temple. The clone troopers surrounding the building have received new orders. Their weapons are now trained on the temple entrances. More transports are arriving with reinforcements. A hologram of Commander Cody appears in the council chamber. His expression conflicted. "Masters, I've been ordered to place the Jedi Temple under lockdown. No one is to enter or leave until the investigation into the assassination attempt is complete. I'm sorry, but I have my orders." Obi-Wan steps forward to speak with his former commander. "Cody, you know me. You know I would never be part of an assassination plot. Please, you need to listen. Palpatine is not who he claims to be." The clone commander's face hardens. "I have my orders, General. I'm sorry." The transmission ends, leaving the council to face a new crisis. They're trapped in their own temple, surrounded by the very army they helped create. And somewhere across the city, Palpatine is consolidating his power. Master Windu makes a quick decision. We need to leave now, before the lockdown is fully in effect. There are still some passages the clones don't know about. If we move fast, we can get to the Senate building and end this. But as the strike team prepares to depart through hidden tunnels beneath the temple, something happens that changes everything. Across Coruscant and on worlds throughout the galaxy, clone troopers receive a transmission. A simple command. Just 2 words. But those words trigger programming buried deep in their brains. Order 66. In the Jedi Temple, clone troopers who had been standing guard suddenly turn their weapons on the Jedi they were supposed to protect. In the streets of Coruscant, clones accompanying Jedi generals open fire without warning. On battlefields across the galaxy, the clone army betrays the Jedi Order in a coordinated strike designed to wipe them out in a single night. Palpatine has activated his contingency plan earlier than intended. Piell's investigation forced his hand. Better to move now, while he still has the element of surprise. The Jedi Temple erupts into chaos as hundreds of clone troopers storm the building. They move with military precision, targeting Jedi with ruthless efficiency. Many Jedi are cut down in the opening moments, caught completely off guard by the betrayal. But others react quickly, their connection to the Force warning them of danger a split second before the shooting starts. The temple becomes a war zone as Jedi fight desperately to defend themselves and the younglings in their care. Master Windu abandons the plan to arrest Palpatine, instead focuses on defending the temple. His lightsaber becomes a blur of violet light as he cuts through waves of clone troopers. Beside him, the other council members form a defensive line, protecting the entrance to the council chambers where dozens of Padawans and younglings have taken shelter. The clones keep coming, wave after wave of them, their training and numbers making them a formidable threat even to Jedi masters. In another part of the temple, Obi-Wan and Anakin fight side by side, desperately trying to reach the younglings' dormitories. Anakin is in shock, unable to process that the clones, his brothers in arms, are trying to kill him. He deflects blaster bolts with his lightsaber, but he's clearly holding back. Unwilling to strike lethal blows against soldiers he fought alongside for years. Obi-Wan has no such hesitation. He knows that mercy now means death for himself and the younglings they're trying to protect. Ahsoka leads a group of Padawans through the temple's maintenance tunnels, using her knowledge of the building's layout to stay ahead of the clone troopers. She can hear the sounds of battle echoing through the corridors, the snap hiss of lightsabers and the constant blaster fire. Her comlink is filled with desperate calls for help from Jedi across the temple. But she can't respond. Her only priority is getting these young Jedi to safety. Master Yoda stands in the temple gardens, his small frame dwarfed by the ancient trees around him. But when the clones find him, they quickly learn that size matters not. The ancient Jedi Master moves with a speed that seems impossible, his lightsaber cutting through their ranks with surgical precision. He uses the Force to disarm entire squads, sending their weapons flying away before knocking the troopers unconscious. Yoda doesn't want to kill the clones if he can avoid it. They're victims of Palpatine's manipulation, just like the Jedi. But everywhere, Yoda can sense Jedi dying. The attack is too coordinated, too well planned. Palpatine has been preparing for this moment for years. It shows. Jedi across the galaxy are being systematically eliminated, cut down by the very soldiers they trusted. Yoda reaches out through the Force, broadcasting a warning to any Jedi who can still hear him. Return to the temple, do not. A trap it is. Survive you must. Go into hiding and await further instructions. Back in the council chambers, Piell ignores his injuries and joins the defense. His lightsaber may be damaged, but he retrieves a spare from the temple's armory and throws himself into the fight. His small size makes him a difficult target. His intimate knowledge of the temple's layout allows him to set up ambushes and choke points that slow the clone advance. But he knows they can't hold out forever. The clones have numbers and heavy weapons on their side. As the battle rages, a transmission comes through on the temple's main communication array. It's Bail Organa, senator from Alderaan and one of the Jedi's few remaining allies in the Senate. Masters, Palpatine has just declared the Jedi traitors to the Republic. He's claiming you attempted a coup and that the clone army is acting to preserve democracy. Most of the Senate is supporting him. You need to evacuate immediately. I'm sending transports to the southern landing platform. Master Windu makes the hardest decision of his life. All Jedi begin evacuation procedures. We're abandoning the temple. Protect the younglings at all costs. The order goes out across the temple's internal communication system. Jedi begin a fighting retreat toward the evacuation points. They carry younglings in their arms and support wounded fellow Jedi as they flee through corridors filled with smoke and blaster fire. The clones press their advantage, sensing victory. But the Jedi don't go quietly. Master Plo Koon leads a rearguard action that buys precious minutes for the evacuation. Master Ki-Adi-Mundi uses the Force to collapse entire sections of the temple, creating barriers that slow the clone advance. Master Luminara Unduli coordinates the evacuation, ensuring that every youngling is accounted for before she'll consider leaving herself. The Jedi Order may be falling, but they're falling with honor. Anakin reaches the younglings' dormitories and finds them already under attack. Clone troopers are advancing down the corridor, their weapons trained on a group of terrified children huddled behind a makeshift barricade. Something inside Anakin breaks. These are children. Innocent children who've done nothing wrong. And the clones, soldiers he trusted, are about to murder them in cold blood. His earlier hesitation evaporates, replaced by cold fury. His lightsaber ignites and he throws himself at the clones with abandon. His attacks are brutal and efficient, no longer the measured strikes of a Jedi, but the savage blows of someone fighting to protect what he loves. Clone troopers fall before him, unable to match his speed or power. Anakin doesn't stop until every trooper in the corridor is down. Then he gathers the younglings and begins leading them toward the evacuation point, his body shielding theirs. Ahsoka emerges from the tunnels near the southern platform and finds Bail Organa's transports waiting as promised. But clone forces are converging on the position. She knows they won't all make it aboard before the troopers arrive. She makes a split-second decision, orders the Padawans onto the transports while she stays behind to cover their escape. Her twin lightsabers flash in the dim light as she faces down an entire platoon of clone troopers alone. Obi-Wan reaches the platform just in time to see Ahsoka's desperate stand. He rushes to join her, his lightsaber deflecting blaster bolts as he fights his way to her side. Together, Master and former Padawan hold the line while younglings and injured Jedi board the transports. Behind them, more Jedi arrive, creating a defensive perimeter that slowly contracts as each transport lifts off. The clones throw everything they have at the position, but the Jedi refuse to break. Master Windu is the last to board, personally ensuring that every Jedi who made it to the platform gets onto a transport before him. As his ship lifts off, he looks back at the temple, the home of the Jedi Order for 1,000 generations, now burning and occupied by clone troopers. The sight fills him with rage and sorrow in equal measure. But there's no time for grief. They need to survive first. They can mourn later. The transports scatter across Coruscant, using the city's vast network of traffic lanes to lose their pursuers. Bail Organa's pilots are skilled, threading through buildings and diving into lower levels where the clone gunships can't easily follow. But they can't stay on Coruscant. Palpatine controls the planet now. It's only a matter of time before he locks down all exits. They need to get off-world, somewhere they can regroup and plan their next move. Master Yoda contacts the scattered transports and designates a rendezvous point, a remote space station in the Mustafar system, abandoned for decades, but still functional. It's far from the Republic's core worlds, unlikely to be searched immediately. The transports jump to hyperspace one by one, leaving Coruscant behind. As they flee, they receive reports from across the galaxy. Jedi are dying by the hundreds. The purge is nearly complete, but not entirely complete. Some Jedi survived the initial attack and are now scattered across the galaxy, hiding in plain sight or fleeing to the outer rim. Master Plo Koon managed to convince his clone squadron that Order 66 was a separatist trick, buying himself time to escape. Master Luminara Unduli used her knowledge of Geonosis to disappear into that world's catacombs with several Padawans. Master Shakti fled Kamino before the clones there could execute her, taking with her evidence of the inhibitor chips that were used to control the clones. At the Mustafar rendezvous point, the survivors gathered to take stock of their situation. Out of the thousands of Jedi who served the Republic, only a few hundred made it off Coruscant. Many are injured, all are traumatized. The younglings are especially affected, having witnessed horrors that will haunt them for years. But they're alive, and for now, that's enough. Master Windu calls a meeting of the surviving council members to determine their next move. The council is a shadow of its former self. Yoda, Windu, Obi-Wan, Plo Koon, and Piell are the only masters present. The others are dead, missing, or trapped on worlds across the galaxy. They gather in a small chamber aboard the space station. The setting a far cry from the Grand Council chambers they're used to. But the weight of their responsibility is the same. They need to decide the future of the Jedi Order. "We can't fight the Republic directly," Obi-Wan says. "We don't have the numbers or the resources. And even if we could, it would mean killing clone troopers who are victims of Palpatine's programming. There has to be another way." Master Plo Koon presents the evidence Shakti brought from Kamino. These inhibitor chips were implanted in the clones during their creation. They're designed to override the clones' free will and force them to follow certain commands. Order 66 was one of those commands. If we can remove the chips, we might be able to free some of the clones, But that's a long-term solution, Master Windu points out. Right now, we need to address the immediate crisis. Palpatine controls the Republic and the Senate. He has the clone army and the support of most of the galaxy. We're fugitives with no legal standing and no political capital. How do we fight back against that? Piell speaks up, his voice carrying the weight of hard-earned wisdom. We don't fight the Republic, we fight Palpatine. And we do it by showing the galaxy who he really is. Yoda nods slowly. Wise, young Piell is. The Senate, deceived they are. The people, misled they are. Show them the truth we must, but carefully. Evidence alone, not enough it is. Proof of Palpatine's Sith identity we need. Piell's scarred face twists into a grim smile. I know how to get that proof. But it means going back to Coruscant. It means infiltrating Palpatine's inner circle and catching him in the act. We need to make him reveal himself in a way the Senate can't ignore. The Council debates this plan, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. Eventually, they agree that it's their best option. But they can't send Jedi Masters for this mission. Palpatine knows their faces and their Force signatures. They need someone unexpected, someone Palpatine won't see coming. That's when Ahsoka volunteers. She's not technically a Jedi anymore, having left the Order before the war ended. And she's young enough that Palpatine might underestimate her. Master Windu is reluctant to send a former Padawan on such a dangerous mission. But Ahsoka makes a compelling argument. I've been in the shadows before. I know how to stay hidden. And I have contacts in Coruscant's underworld that can help me get close to Palpatine. Please, Masters, let me do this. Let me help save the Order. Yoda considers her carefully before nodding. Strong in the Force you are, young Tano. And right, you may be. But alone, you will not go. A partner you will have. To everyone's surprise, Piell volunteers to accompany her. I started this when I confronted Palpatine. I should be there when we finish it. Besides, my size makes me easy to hide, and I know Palpatine's tactics better than anyone. Ahsoka and I can work together. The Council agrees to this plan. The two Jedi begin preparing for their infiltration mission. Meanwhile, the rest of the Council focuses on other priorities. Master Windu leads a team to various systems allied with Alderaan, seeking political support and safe harbor for the surviving Jedi. Bail Organa has been working behind the scenes to build a coalition of senators who are skeptical of Palpatine's emergency powers. It's a delicate balance, supporting the Jedi without openly opposing the Chancellor. But it's their best hope for long-term survival. Mon Mothma of Chandrila and Garm Bel Iblis of Corellia both offer quiet support, providing resources and intelligence. Master Plo Koon takes a team to Kamino to investigate the inhibitor chips and see if they can develop a way to remove them safely. The Kaminoans are reluctant to help at first, fearing Palpatine's wrath. But Shaak Ti's evidence convinces them that the chips are a perversion of their work. They begin developing a procedure to remove the chips without killing the clones. Though it's delicate and time-consuming, each clone they free is one more potential ally against Palpatine. Obi-Wan and Yoda focus on finding surviving Jedi scattered across the galaxy. They send out encoded messages through Old Republic channels, establishing safe houses and evacuation routes for Jedi trying to escape Imperial persecution. It's slow, dangerous work. Every transmission risks being intercepted by Palpatine's forces. But gradually, more Jedi find their way to the growing resistance. Each one is a small victory against the Sith Lord's attempts to exterminate them. Meanwhile, Ahsoka and Piell make their way back to Coruscant using false identities and a smuggler's ship. They enter the planet through one of the criminal-controlled portals, bypassing the Imperial checkpoints that now monitor all official traffic. The city has changed in the weeks since Order 66. Clone troopers patrol every street. Propaganda holoboards proclaim the glory of the new galactic empire. Palpatine has declared himself emperor, and the Senate, cowed by fear and manipulation, has accepted this transformation. The two Jedi make contact with Ahsoka's underworld connections, using them to gather intelligence on Palpatine's movements and security protocols. What they learn is disturbing. The Emperor is preparing for a grand ceremony where he'll officially dissolve the Galactic Senate and announce the formation of regional governors who will rule in his name. It's the final step in his transformation from chancellor to dictator. But it's also an opportunity. Piell realizes that this ceremony is their chance. Palpatine will be surrounded by senators and holocam crews broadcasting across the galaxy. If they can force him to reveal his true nature during the ceremony, the entire galaxy will see what he really is. But getting close enough to provoke him won't be easy. The Imperial Palace is heavily guarded. Palpatine's connection to the Force means he can sense Jedi presence from a considerable distance. They need a different approach. Ahsoka suggests using a technique that Master Quinlan Vos once taught her, a way to suppress her Force signature and become almost invisible to Force-sensitive enemies. It's difficult and dangerous, requiring absolute concentration and leaving her vulnerable if discovered. But it might let her get close enough to plant evidence or create a situation that forces Palpatine to act. Piell agrees to provide a distraction, while Ahsoka makes her move. On the day of the ceremony, Ahsoka infiltrates the Imperial Palace disguised as a member of the serving staff. Her Force signature is suppressed to almost nothing, making her appear as just another insignificant worker among thousands. She carries a small recording device, Imperial-grade technology that she borrowed from one of Bail Organa's contacts in the Senate. Her mission is to get the device close enough to Palpatine to record a private conversation where he might reveal his Sith identity. Piell takes a more direct approach. He appears at the ceremony as himself, walking boldly through the front entrance with his Jedi robes on full display. The Imperial guards immediately move to arrest him. But Piell doesn't resist. Instead, he demands an audience with the Emperor, claiming he has information about a separatist plot. The guards are confused. This Jedi Master is supposed to be a fugitive, yet he's surrendering himself in full view of the Senate. They take him into custody and bring him before Palpatine. The Emperor sits on his throne, surrounded by senators and admirals. When he sees Piell being brought before him in chains, a flicker of surprise crosses his face before it's replaced by his usual grandfatherly smile. Master Piell, how unexpected. I was told you died during the Jedi Temple assault. Clearly, those reports were exaggerated. Piell meets his gaze without flinching. I've come to give you one last chance, Sidious. Surrender yourself to justice and end this madness before more innocents die. The throne room goes silent. Senators gasp at the accusation. Palpatine merely chuckles. Still clinging to these delusions, Master Piell? My dear Jedi, I am not this Darth Sidious you keep mentioning. I am simply a servant of the Republic, trying to maintain order during a dark time. Your Jedi coup nearly destroyed us all. Piell's eyes narrow. Then explain the Sith communications I found in your office. Explain the financial transactions funding both sides of the war. Explain how you knew about military operations before they happened. Palpatine's smile doesn't waver. Circumstantial evidence at best, and easily explained by the intelligence services of the Chancellor's office. Really, Master Piell, if you're going to accuse someone of treason, You should at least bring substantial proof. The senators begin to murmur in agreement. Palpatine has spent years cultivating their trust. They're more inclined to believe him than a Jedi who attacked the Chancellor in his office. Piell can feel the moment slipping away. But that's when Ahsoka makes her move. She's been slowly working her way closer to the throne during Piell's distraction, her suppressed Force presence allowing her to pass unnoticed, even by Palpatine. She plants the recording device beneath the Emperor's throne, hidden in a decorative element where it won't be easily found. Then she slips back into the crowd of servants, begins to retreat. Her part of the mission is complete. Piell, sensing that Ahsoka has finished her task, decides to push Palpatine harder. He reaches out through the Force and broadcasts his memories of their confrontation, allowing everyone in the throne room to feel the dark side energy that radiated from Palpatine during their duel. Some of the more Force-sensitive senators gasp as they experience the echo of that darkness. Palpatine's face hardens for just a moment before he regains control. "That's enough," the Emperor says quietly. "Guards, take Master Piell to a detention cell. He will stand trial for his crimes against the Republic." But Piell isn't done. As the guards move toward him, he makes one final play. He releases the Force suppression he's been maintaining on his emotions, lets his genuine sorrow and anger flood outward. Every person in the room feels it. The raw grief of a Jedi watching everything he fought for being destroyed by the very person they were protecting. You want to know who Palpatine really is? Look at him through the Force. See the darkness that surrounds him like a shroud. He's no servant of the Republic. He's the Sith Lord who orchestrated this entire war. And some of the senators do look. Those with even a slight Force sensitivity can feel something emanating from Palpatine, something cold and malevolent. Doubt begins to creep into their minds. What if the Jedi is telling the truth? Palpatine senses the shift in the room, knows he needs to act decisively. He stands from his throne and raises his hands, projecting an aura of injured dignity. Senators, witness the desperation of the Jedi. Master Piell knows he cannot prove his accusations, so he resorts to Force manipulation, trying to make you fear me. This is exactly why the Jedi Order became dangerous. They believed they were above the law, that their Force powers gave them the right to dictate to the Senate. But several senators aren't convinced. Bail Organa stands and addresses the Emperor directly. "Your Majesty, if Master Piell's accusations are false, then you should have no objection to a full investigation. Let us examine the evidence, question witnesses, determine the truth of these matters." Mon Mothma stands as well, adding her voice. The senator from Alderaan speaks wisely. In the interest of transparency, we should investigate these claims thoroughly. Palpatine's eyes narrow dangerously. He's losing control of the narrative. He can't allow that. His hand moves in a subtle gesture. The Imperial guards surrounding Piell suddenly raise their weapons. Before anyone can react, they open fire. The Jedi Master's chains prevent him from defending himself properly. Blaster bolts slam into his body. He falls to the floor of the throne room. Senators scream in shock and horror at the execution they just witnessed. But Piell isn't quite dead. With his last strength, he reaches out through the Force and speaks directly into the minds of every Force-sensitive person in the room. Remember this day. Remember what you've seen. Palpatine is the Sith. Stop him before it's too late. Then Master Even Piell, veteran of 1,000 battles, one of the Jedi Order's finest warriors, becomes one with the Force. His death ripples through the Force like a shockwave, felt by Jedi across the galaxy. In the throne room, chaos erupts. Senators are shouting, demanding explanations for the execution. Palpatine tries to regain control, claiming that Piell was attempting to use Force mind tricks and had to be stopped. But the damage is done. Several senators have felt Piell's dying message. Doubt about Palpatine's true nature is spreading like wildfire. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma immediately call for an emergency Senate session to investigate the Emperor's actions. Ahsoka feels Piell's death through their Force bond and has to suppress a cry of anguish. She wants to rush to the throne room to avenge her fallen comrade. But she knows that would waste Piell's sacrifice. Instead, she activates the recording device remotely and begins to make her escape. The device is sophisticated enough to continue recording for hours, capturing everything that happens near Palpatine's throne. Over the next few days, the political situation on Coruscant becomes increasingly unstable. The Emperor's supporters in the Senate try to suppress discussion of Piell's execution, but the dissident senators refuse to be silenced. Bail Organa presents evidence gathered by the Jedi, including the Sith communications and financial records. While Palpatine's allies dismiss it as forgeries, enough senators are convinced to demand a formal investigation. Meanwhile, Ahsoka retrieves the recording device and discovers that it captured something extraordinary. After the ceremony, Palpatine returned to his throne room with Darth Vader, his new apprentice. The two discuss their plans for the Empire in detail, with Palpatine openly using Sith terminology and referring to himself as Darth Sidious. The recording is everything the Resistance needs to prove Palpatine's true nature. But getting the recording to the Senate won't be easy. Palpatine has tightened security across Coruscant. Anyone associated with the Jedi is being hunted. Ahsoka needs to find a way to broadcast the recording to the entire galaxy simultaneously. So Palpatine can't suppress it. She makes contact with Bail Organa, who suggests using the Senate's own broadcast network during a live session. If they can get the recording played during an official Senate meeting, every world in the Empire will see it. The plan is set. Bail Organa calls for an emergency Senate session to discuss the formation of the regional governors that Palpatine proposed. The Emperor has to attend such a session, as it's one of the few remaining political customs he needs to respect to maintain his legitimacy. During the session, Organa's technical staff will replace the scheduled broadcast with Ahsoka's recording. Palpatine will be exposed in front of the entire galaxy the day of the session arrives. The Senate chamber is packed. Thousands of senators from across the Empire have gathered, along with countless holocam crews broadcasting the proceedings. Palpatine sits in the Chancellor's pod, now renamed the Emperor's throne, looking serene and confident. He has no idea what's about to happen. The session begins with routine business, discussing the administrative structure of the new empire. Then Bail Organa takes the floor. Your Majesty, before we proceed with the discussion of regional governors, I believe the Senate deserves to see evidence that has recently come to light regarding the nature of our government. He gives a subtle signal to his technical staff. Suddenly, every holo screen in the chamber flickers. The image changes from the Senate chamber to a recording of Palpatine's throne room. The galaxy watches as Palpatine speaks with Darth Vader about their plans. My apprentice, the Jedi, are nearly extinct. Soon we will have crushed the last remnants of their order, and nothing will stand in the way of the Sith. The recording continues, showing Palpatine discussing the inhibitor chips in the clone troopers, his manipulation of the Senate, his plans to rule the galaxy through fear and military might. Every word, every gesture, confirms what the Jedi have been saying. Palpatine is Darth Sidious. In the Senate chamber, pandemonium breaks out. Senators are shouting, some in outrage at the Emperor, others in shock at the revelation. Palpatine sits motionless in his throne, his face a mask of cold fury. He knows there's no way to explain away this recording. His identity as a Sith Lord is now public knowledge. The deception that took decades to construct has been destroyed in a matter of minutes. Security forces begin to move toward him, uncertain of their orders. The Emperor rises from his throne and addresses the Senate one final time. Yes, I am Darth Sidious. I am a Sith Lord, and I have orchestrated everything you've witnessed over the past years. The Clone Wars, the fall of the Jedi, the rise of the Empire, all of it was my design. He pauses, watching their reactions. And you, my dear senators, played your parts perfectly. His voice drips with contempt. You were so eager to give up your freedoms in exchange for security, so willing to believe that I was your savior. But make no mistake, he continues, his voice rising, I am your emperor, and my rule will continue regardless of what you've just seen. The clone army is loyal to me, not to this Senate. The Imperial Navy follows my commands. You can vote to remove me if you wish, but it will change nothing. I am the Senate. I am the Republic. I am the Empire. And he unleashes Force lightning, striking down senators who were moving to arrest him. Chaos erupts in the chamber. Clone troopers pour in, but many of them hesitate, their inhibitor chips struggling against the evidence they've just seen. Some follow their programming and move to defend Palpatine. Others stand down, refusing to support a Sith Lord. The Senate chamber becomes a battlefield as senators flee for their lives and clone troopers fight each other. Palpatine cuts down anyone who gets too close, his lightsaber red blade carving through guards and senators alike. But he's outnumbered. Master Windu and Yoda have been waiting for this moment. Hidden near the Senate chamber with a strike team of Jedi, they burst into the chamber, their lightsabers ignited, engaging the Emperor. This is the battle Piell started and died for. The confrontation that will determine the fate of the galaxy. The Jedi advance on Palpatine from multiple directions, their blades flashing in the lights of the holocams still broadcasting across the Empire. The Emperor fights with terrifying power, his mastery of the dark side allowing him to hold off multiple Jedi Masters simultaneously. But he's also distracted by the collapsing political situation. Clone troopers are defecting en masse as the recording plays on loop across every holo screen. Without the inhibitor chips forcing their loyalty, many clones realize they've been manipulated. Turn against Palpatine. The Emperor's power base is crumbling in real time. Master Windu and Yoda coordinate their attacks, using their combined experience to exploit openings in Palpatine's defense. The Emperor is forced to retreat, fighting his way toward his private escape route. But Bail Organa has anticipated this, sealed the exits. Palpatine is trapped in the Senate chamber, surrounded by Jedi and clone troopers who no longer follow his orders. For the first time in decades, the Sith Lord feels genuine fear. In a last desperate gambit, Palpatine unleashes a massive force storm, a devastating manifestation of dark side power that threatens to tear the Senate chamber apart. Lightning arcs through the room, shattering windows and collapsing support beams. Senators who haven't yet escaped are thrown about like debris. But Yoda and Windu pool their strength, create a force barrier that contains the storm, preventing it from spreading beyond the chamber. The effort is immense, but they hold firm. Palpatine exhausts himself maintaining the force storm. When it finally dissipates, he's vulnerable. Master Windu strikes first, his lightsaber cutting through Palpatine's defenses and severing his weapon hand. The Emperor screams in pain and rage. But before he can retaliate, Yoda delivers the final blow. The ancient Jedi Master's lightsaber flashes once. Darth Sidious, the last of the Sith Lords, falls dead in the Senate chamber. The galaxy watches it all in real time, broadcast across every holonet channel. The aftermath of Palpatine's death is complex and chaotic. The Empire doesn't simply collapse. It fragments into various factions, each claiming legitimacy. Some regions remain loyal to imperial ideology, forming breakaway states ruled by ambitious admirals and governors. Others immediately pledge allegiance to the Jedi and the Reformed Republic. Most fall into a state of confusion, uncertain of what comes next after decades of Palpatine's rule. The Jedi Order faces its own challenges. They've been vindicated in the eyes of the galaxy, but they've also been nearly wiped out. Only a few hundred Jedi survive, far too few to resume their traditional role as peacekeepers for an entire galaxy. Master Yoda calls a council meeting to discuss the future of the Order. Every surviving Jedi is invited to attend. It's a humbling experience, seeing how few of them remain. The debate that follows is intense and sometimes painful. Some Jedi argue for rebuilding the Order exactly as it was, returning to the old ways and the old structures. But others, including many of the younger Jedi, believe that the old ways are part of what allowed Palpatine to nearly destroy them. They point to the Order's political entanglement with the Senate, their reluctance to act decisively against obvious threats, their dogmatic adherence to rules that prevented them from adapting to changing circumstances. At the heart of this debate is Master Piell's legacy. His confrontation with Palpatine, though it cost him his life, ultimately saved the galaxy. But it also violated almost every principle the old Jedi Order held sacred. He acted unilaterally without council approval. He confronted a political leader based on circumstantial evidence. He prioritized decisive action over careful deliberation. And in the end, he was right. The question facing the Order is whether they should embrace this more proactive approach or return to their traditional methods. Obi-Wan Kenobi emerges as a voice for reform. We can't go back to the way things were. The old Order served the galaxy for 1,000 years, but it also became complacent. We were so focused on maintaining peace that we forgot how to recognize when war was necessary. We were so committed to serving the Republic that we couldn't see when the Republic itself became corrupt. We need a new approach, one that honors our traditions while learning from our failures. Master Yoda listens to all sides of the debate before speaking. Wise words, Obi-Wan speaks. But careful we must be. Reform without wisdom leads to chaos, yet wisdom without change leads to stagnation. A balance we must find. After much discussion, the Council proposes a new structure for the Jedi Order. They will no longer serve the Senate directly. Instead, they'll operate as an independent organization dedicated to maintaining balance in the Force and protecting the innocent wherever they're found. The Jedi will be divided into several branches, each with different responsibilities. One branch will focus on training new Jedi and preserving the Order's knowledge. Another will work to locate and free clone troopers still controlled by inhibitor chips. A third will hunt down remaining Sith artifacts and dark side users, ensuring that what happened with Palpatine can never happen again. And a fourth, inspired by Piell's example, will actively investigate threats to galactic peace rather than waiting for crises to develop. The galaxy's political structure also undergoes massive changes. The Imperial Senate is dissolved and replaced with a new galactic alliance, a more decentralized government that gives individual star systems greater autonomy. Bail Organa becomes the first Chancellor of the Alliance. With Mon Mothma and other reformist senators helping to craft a new constitution that includes better checks on executive power. The lessons of Palpatine's rise aren't lost on them. The clone troopers present their own complex challenge. Master Plo Koon's work on Kamino has yielded a reliable procedure for removing inhibitor chips, but performing it on millions of clones will take years. In the meantime, the galaxy debates what should happen to the clone army. Some argue they should be disbanded entirely, their existence a reminder of Palpatine's manipulation. Others believe the clones deserve a chance at freedom and a normal life after years of service. A compromise is reached. The clone army is officially disbanded. Clones are given the choice of what to do next. Those who wish to continue serving as soldiers can join the new Alliance Defense Force, which will be much smaller and more focused on peacekeeping rather than warfare. Others are offered retraining programs to help them transition to civilian life. Still others choose to form their own communities, building lives separate from the galaxy that created and betrayed them. The Jedi Order plays a crucial role in helping the clones adjust to freedom. Ahsoka Tano, in particular, dedicates herself to this cause, seeing it as honoring Piell's sacrifice. She travels from world to world, helping to remove inhibitor chips and offering support to clones struggling with the trauma of being forced to kill their Jedi commanders. Her work brings her into contact with Captain Rex, Commander Wolf, and other clones who remember her from the war. Together, they create a network of support for clones across the galaxy. Anakin Skywalker emerges from these events changed. The betrayal of the clones and the near destruction of the Jedi Order forced him to confront his own assumptions about loyalty, duty, and power. In this timeline, he never fell to the dark side because Piell's sacrifice prevented Palpatine from manipulating him during his most vulnerable moment. Instead, Anakin becomes one of the leaders of the reformed Jedi Order, using his experience to train a new generation of Jedi who understand that power must be balanced with wisdom. 5 years after Palpatine's death, the galaxy has achieved a tentative stability. The Galactic Alliance has proven more resilient than many predicted, with member worlds generally satisfied with their increased autonomy. The Jedi Order, though still recovering from the Purge, has established temples on several worlds and begun training new Padawans. The Clone Wars are remembered as a dark chapter in galactic history, a cautionary tale about the dangers of concentrated power and manufactured conflict. But the peace is fragile. Imperial remnants still operate in the Outer Rim, led by ambitious warlords who dream of restoring the Empire. Dark side cults have emerged in the power vacuum left by the Sith, some worshipping Palpatine as a martyr. And within the Jedi Order itself, tensions remain between traditionalists and reformists about the proper role of Jedi in galactic affairs. The work of rebuilding is far from complete. On Mandalore, which has become one of the Jedi's primary training grounds, Master Windu oversees the education of new Padawans. The curriculum has been revised based on the lessons of the Clone Wars. Students learn not just lightsaber combat and force techniques, but also political theory, galactic history, and critical thinking. They're taught to question authority, including Jedi authority, and to make their own moral judgments rather than blindly following doctrine. Master Yoda, now over 900 years old, has taken on a different role. He no longer sits on the Jedi Council, having stepped down to allow younger voices to guide the Order's future. Instead, he serves as a teacher and advisor, passing on his vast knowledge to the next generation while encouraging them to forge their own path. He often tells stories of Master Piell to the younglings, emphasizing how one Jedi's courage and determination changed the course of history. The legacy of even Piell's confrontation with Palpatine resonates throughout the reformed Jedi Order. A memorial has been erected in his honor on Coruscant, marking the spot in the Senate chamber where he died. The inscription reads, "Master Even Piell, who stood alone against darkness and showed the galaxy the truth. His sacrifice saved us all." But more than monuments, Piell's influence lives on in the Order's new philosophy. The Jedi are no longer passive observers waiting for the Force to guide them. They're active participants in galactic affairs, using their powers and knowledge to prevent crises rather than just responding to them. They investigate suspicious political movements, monitor threats to peace, and aren't afraid to confront evil directly when they find it. This more proactive approach isn't without controversy. The Order must constantly balance intervention with respect for democracy and self-determination. Ahsoka Tano eventually takes a seat on the Jedi Council, representing the generation of Jedi who grew up during the Clone Wars. Her experience fighting alongside clones and her work helping them afterward gives her a unique perspective on the relationship between the Jedi and the galaxy's ordinary citizens. She argues passionately that the Jedi must never again become so isolated from the people they're supposed to protect. She establishes programs that embed Jedi in communities across the galaxy. Obi-Wan Kenobi focuses on diplomatic missions, using his skills and experience to prevent conflicts before they escalate. He becomes one of the Galactic Alliance's most effective negotiators, resolving disputes that might otherwise have led to war. His success is partly due to his ability to sense deception through the Force. But more importantly, it's because he genuinely listens to all sides and seeks solutions that address underlying grievances rather than just treating symptoms. As for the Sith, they remain extinct. Palpatine was the last of the lineage descended from Darth Bane. With his death, that particular threat ended, but the Jedi remain vigilant, knowing that the dark side of the Force is a constant temptation and that new threats will inevitably emerge. They establish a special branch dedicated to studying Sith artifacts and dark side phenomena, not to use these powers, but to understand and counter them when they appear. The galaxy's economic recovery is slower than its political reconstruction. The Clone Wars devastated entire sectors. Many worlds struggle with poverty and instability in the aftermath. The Jedi Order, working with the Galactic Alliance, establishes humanitarian missions to these struggling regions. Jedi help coordinate relief efforts, repair infrastructure, protect vulnerable populations from pirates and warlords. It's unglamorous work, but it's exactly the kind of service the Jedi should have been providing all along. Interestingly, some former separatist worlds join the Galactic Alliance willingly once they understand that Palpatine was manipulating both sides. The revelation that the war was orchestrated by a Sith Lord rather than arising from genuine grievances allows for reconciliation. While some resentments persist, many worlds that fought against the Republic come to see the Alliance as a genuine fresh start. The galaxy slowly begins to heal. 10 years after Palpatine's death, Master Yoda passes away peacefully at the age of 910. His funeral is attended by Jedi from across the galaxy, as well as senators, clone veterans, and ordinary citizens whose lives he touched. In his final words, recorded before his death, Yoda emphasizes that the Force is balance, and that the Jedi must always strive to maintain that balance between action and restraint, between justice and mercy, between individual freedom and collective responsibility. The Jedi Order he leaves behind is smaller than the one that existed before the Clone Wars, but it's also stronger in many ways. The Jedi are more connected to the galaxy's citizens, more aware of political realities, more willing to act decisively when needed. They've learned from their mistakes without abandoning their core values. They're not perfect. They continue to struggle with difficult questions about their role in galactic society. But they're learning, adapting, growing. In the Senate chamber of the new Galactic Alliance building, a tradition has developed. Before each session begins, the presiding officer reads the final message that Master Piell broadcast before his death. Remember this day. Remember what you've seen. Stop tyranny before it's too late. It serves as a reminder to the senators of their responsibility to remain vigilant against threats to freedom. Whether those threats come from Sith Lords or from the slow accumulation of emergency powers. The clones, now fully integrated into galactic society, have become some of the Jedi's strongest allies. Many who served during the Clone Wars maintain close relationships with the Jedi who led them. Bonds forged in combat and strengthened by shared trauma. They work together on various projects, combining the clones' military expertise with the Jedi's Force abilities to tackle challenges ranging from peacekeeping to disaster relief. The partnership is a testament to what can be achieved when beings work together with mutual respect. Anakin Skywalker eventually takes a Padawan, a young Zabrak girl who shows tremendous potential in the Force. He teaches her everything he learned from both his victories and his mistakes, passing on the wisdom that the Jedi Order gained at such terrible cost. His training emphasizes balance, the importance of controlling one's emotions without suppressing them, and the need to always question authority while respecting wisdom. It's a synthesis of the old Jedi philosophy and the hard lessons of the Clone Wars. The reformed Jedi Order establishes new temples on worlds that were devastated during the war, bringing hope and stability to regions that suffered the most. These temples aren't isolated monasteries, but community centers where Jedi live and work alongside ordinary citizens. They offer training in the Force to those with the ability. But they also provide education, medical care, and conflict resolution services to everyone. The Jedi become true servants of the galaxy, not just its defenders. As the years pass, the memory of the Clone Wars and Palpatine's rise gradually fades into history. New generations grow up in the Galactic Alliance, never having known the Empire's tyranny. But the Jedi ensure that these events aren't forgotten. They maintain comprehensive archives of the war, including recordings of Piell's confrontation with Palpatine and the Emperor's exposure in the Senate. These records are required study for all Padawans, ensuring that the Order never again fails to recognize evil in its midst. The galaxy isn't perfect. There are still conflicts, injustices, challenges that test the Jedi and the Galactic Alliance. But compared to the darkness of Palpatine's empire, the present represents hope. And at the foundation of that hope is the sacrifice of a small Lannic Jedi master who refused to accept evil. Even when standing alone against it seemed like suicide. Master even Piell proved that one individual's courage can change the course of history. That's a lesson the galaxy will never forget. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.